What's up, Pickleheads? Back another week. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 rule changes for 2024. Some of these are kind of crazy, so stick around. We'll go through all of them, and we'll see if we can adjust to these this coming year.
Yeah, these are absolutely crazy rule changes. I'm excited to talk about them. Me and Spencer were just talking about if these were specific to PPA or if they're specific to USAP, which USAP is what? United States Pickleball Association or something?
Yeah, United States Association of Pickleball.
What does that mean then? So
they're apparently the governing body of pickleball. As of now, pro tournaments are still abiding by USA Pickleball rules.
regardless of what country they're in, though.
I don't know about that. I would assume so, but they're basically the paddle approvers and the rule approvers, and for now, everyone's still going by it. But
I wonder if they'll change the name then in the future to Universal or something.
yeah, maybe.
Universal Statuary. They keep the acronym, but they
Make up our own acronym. Yeah.
I actually made up an acronym on a recent post that I did.
Oh, you did?
It was pretty bad, honestly. It didn't do that well, but the acronym's good. It was just that it was too long.
The shabby one?
Shabby.
No, I thought that was good.
Okay. It didn't do that well, but I spent a lot of time on that. So.
Those are the ones that don't do well.
Yeah. Just like we talked about on our last pod.
Yeah.
That one, it probably took me a good 30 minutes to edit that one. And yeah, I think it got like 100-something likes. Maybe 200. But still, that's pretty low.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I'm excited to talk about the new rule changes, and maybe we'll see. Maybe a rule change for 2025 will tell them to change their name, because that makes no sense. Because I'm sure that all these rules apply to Taiwan and Thailand and whatever else place.
I mean, it seems like they're going to stick with USA Pickleball and what they come out with, but it's like, I don't know, how long are they going to do that? Because I guarantee these pro tours have more money than anyway. It makes sense. I think USA Pickleball makes a lot more sense being the governing body for amateur players, as a whole. But
I'm just watching you over there holding your shaft. For those of you that aren't watching, Spencer's cracking me up over here. He's obviously, me and Spencer are together today. Normally he's in a different state, but he brought his mic, and then I had a spare shaft for him. So he's just
cheers.
He's over there playing with it. It's cracking me up. I don't even remember what you said. I can't focus over here. I might just have to look at the camera.
Let's start with rule number 1. Let's go over these, see what we agree with, what we don't agree with. So these are the top 5, again, rules for 2024. These are changes. This is Rule 7.L, whatever that means. I guess there were I don't know, what did we see, 92 rule changes?
There's 92 total.
But we'll talk about some bigger ones, and this is one of them. So Rule 7.L has been updated, and 11A has been updated with the word deliberately taken out. Rule 7.L is the carry rule, and 11.A, we'll talk about what that is in a minute. But have you come across a carry often in pickleball?
Yeah.
And if you have, how has it affected you? What do you think about that rule? I guess we should say what a carry is, and that's basically dwell time on the paddle in a way,
and throw.
Carrying the ball and then kind of throwing it over the net instead of hitting the ball over the net.
Yeah. Yeah, typically you get it at every single level, but there are those players. It's usually the players that have an unorthodox type play. They've been playing for a long while, and I mean at the 5-0 level, they've been playing for a very long time, and they do it very often. Or at the beginner level, they haven't been playing for long, and they're just holding the wrong grip, honestly. They're just not holding the right grip, and they grip on a lot. But then you'll see it where you'll do it yourself. You're holding everything correctly, but you even do it yourself without meaning to very often. I mean, it's not as often as the players that don't have the good grips.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see it pretty dang often. So I like this rule that it's an automatic fault as soon as someone grabs onto the ball, because it's not intentional, but also if they do it, the point's instantly over. I can't think of one point I've had in the past. Not that I have the greatest memory, but I can't think of one point I've had in the past where someone grabs and throws and I get to the ball or my partner gets the ball back. It's instantly over. It's either they grab and throw it a mile out or they grab and throw it to the opposite side of the court that their motion's going towards. So it just makes no sense.
Yeah, I saw a singles match, fairly recently. I think this was over the summer. It was between Ryan Sherry and a guy from Arizona that doesn't play as often.
Pesa.
Yeah, Pesa Tioni. It happened in Pesa. I think it was just a weird ball. He didn't do it purposely, but the ball that he received and the position that he was in, it just looked like he caught the ball and threw it, And then Ryan Sherry was like, no, that's not going to happen here. And they did take the point away from him in that circumstance. But it just makes sense. What are we going to do? Otherwise, what's that called in tennis? Like, all pros are good at it. I think you're good at it too. I never did. When you take your racket and someone hits you the ball and you can basically catch the ball on your racket. Does that have a name or no?
Just catching the ball with your racket.
But I think this would get to a point. It can get to a point where people will abuse it and catch the ball on their paddle and then throw it back.
Yeah.
It's like, nah.
So do you think that this is just specific to those circumstances where it's literally like the ball bounces, you scoop it and throw it? Or do you think it's like someone speeds up the ball to you, you try to speed it back and it catches onto your paddle? Or do you think it's all of them?
Yeah, I think it encompasses all of them.
I hope so.
But
I'm not very bothered by people scooping the ball back on the baseline or something like that.
Well, then we should talk about rule change number 2, which is kind of related to rule change number 1. This is apparently 11A, if that matters to anyone. And it says it's the double hit rule. So that is still intact as long as it's one motion. So the rule for 2024 is if it's just one swing and one motion, that ball can basically skip on your paddle as many times as it wants to. And I don't know how I feel about that one, because anytime I've done that, it's been an accident. If you can do that on purpose, good for you, but I don't think anybody can do that on purpose.
Yeah.
But anytime it's ever happened to me, I've accidentally, the ball's either coming really fast or with a lot of spin or something, and I mistime it, and all of a sudden it hits my paddle 2 or 3 times and then goes over. I know it's one motion, but I think that should either be, in my opinion, redo it, or it should be the other person's point.
I think it should be a fault too. I think that those two are contradicting each other, because what's the difference between that and a throw? Other than the fact that obviously they're different in the sense of a throw, you're catching and throwing. A double bounce, a double hit with a double hit. You're basically catching and throwing too. It's going in a different direction than what the people anticipated for it to go.
They both affect the play.
I don't understand why they'd approve one and then not approve the other. That doesn't make any sense to me. So
yeah, to them it does, because it's run by a bunch of, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but a bunch of 90-year-olds that are making these rules. Because both of them affect play. I think if it affects play in a way to where the opponent can't react to it, then it should probably be a fault.
Yeah. That's what the rule what would be the other reason for a throw, or a carry?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Because that's the reason they got rid of the spin serve, because it was the person receiving the ball was not able to anticipate where the ball was going in any way, because it was so erratic. And lots of times even the server wasn't able to.
I'm fine with that being one of the reasons for the spin serve being removed, but the main reason I think is the fact that it just turned pickleball into tennis, where it was like these guys that are 4-0s are coming in and they have a fantastic spin serve, and now they can go literally play at the 5-0 level and win tournaments just because they're hitting ace after ace after ace. But as soon as it's a side out, it's like they lose 5 points in a row just because they suck. They aren't consistent at all. And then when that rule changed, you haven't heard from these people again. They're non-existent.
I agree. It changed the game. But then the other side of it, same logic. If you can't anticipate where that ball is going to be, I mean, it should maybe be a fault. But at the same time, I have one thing going against me if I think that way, and that's if the ball hits the net. Because, like, typically players can't, it's so awkward when the ball ticks off the net that, that could be determined a fault too.
I can
but
kind of see that, but at the same time, it's like it goes off the net. It's unless you're hitting it really hard, it really does go in the angle that you're hitting it. So it's either going to go really long or it's going to go and dribble over the net.
Yeah.
And if it goes long, you're going to get there. If it dribbles over, nothing you can do.
Yeah.
But it's like you're not going to hit it towards the right and all of a sudden it's going to hit the net and go totally to the left. You know what I mean? It's going to go hit the net and probably go to the right.
Although if I can figure out a way to do that, I'm doing it.
Put some spin. There was a rule that was unapproved out of the 92. So these 92 rules, there's few that are approved, others that are being held for approval, which means that the committee, there's two different people that do these rules, but there's a committee for rules. They just make up jobs for people to have. There's a committee for rules with it, and then
all
there's
these
a
people
board.
are going to hate us that work there. Okay, go ahead.
They're not listening to this. And then there's a board of directors. Okay, and the board of directors has the final say. So the committee of rules approves something, and then the board of directors can either be like, I don't approve, or hold for approval, or approved. And there was one that I think the committee didn't approve it, and then or voted to not have it approved, and then the board of directors can still approve it, but they chose not to approve it. But it was going to be bounce serves only. So whatever it's called, drop serves only, not bounce serves, but drop serves only, which I like. I think that could be really cool because you drop. Since it's a drop serve, you have to have palm down and you have to just let go of the ball. Whatever the word is for it scientifically, I don't know if you're an engineer. I'm sure you know the word. Doesn't matter. But that ball can't possibly bounce up higher than where you dropped it. So with the drop serve, it's going to
gravity.
So
Nailed
with
it.
the drop serve, it's going to solve any problem that you're having with someone hitting the serve above their waist or above their wrist, because it's automatically going to drop lower than where they drop it from. Even if they drop it clear up here, right? It's still only going to drop maybe.
Yeah, I've tested it.
I mean, way below your waist still.
Yeah, as long as you're not cheating in any way, as long as you're not throwing it up, which is illegal.
Yeah, has to
and
be
as long as you're not throwing it down.
So I liked it, but they didn't approve it. So if I was on the board, I would have approved it for you guys. I would have got that done for you. But what do you think? I just think that solves the Tyson McGuffin problem. It solves the Ben Johns problem. It solves the Deckel problem.
Yeah,
where these players are constantly being called out on their serves. And all these players, for some reason, don't agree that their serves are illegal half the time. But it's like, you guys have been called out specifically by refs saying that it's illegal. So obviously...
And they're going to keep pushing the envelope. I mean, you might as well.
Yeah, and I would too.
If it doesn't go away.
What are your thoughts on the drop serve?
Yeah. No, I think that's a good solution.
I think it's the solution.
I need to...
Instead of a volley serve.
Yeah, maybe next year. I mean, it's bound to happen at some point. Another one just off topic is they talked about going from, it's not been approved, but going to rally scoring from normal scoring.
What is it? Side out scoring?
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I really like side out scoring only because I think that's what I'm used to.
Well, that's pickleball.
Yeah, it just is. And you know when to take risks. Like, I take more risks when I'm serving because I know I'm not giving them a point, technically, But in side-out scoring, I don't know. Maybe I'd get used to it. But
the debate is this, which I think this would be cool, is it's singles and doubles and separating those and making it up to the tournament director, which I think is what they are holding for approval. So the committee voted approved, actually, for rally scoring, that it would be up to the tournament director to do either rally scoring, it's their option, or to do side-out scoring, which I thought was cool. And then the board of directors, who it's their say, they said hold for approval. So that basically means wait till 2025 and we'll come up with a decision either to reject or accept it. So they're not really in a hurry to do it, but I think that would be cool to do rally scoring and make it allowed at certain tournaments, whether it's doubles or singles. But my personal opinion is rally scoring should be singles. Singles should always be rally scoring. Otherwise, singles is pretty dang boring.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of players to watch, the fact that you have to serve to score a point.
Although people argue that doubles is boring to watch.
Right.
Also. But,
That's true. That's true. And I think people coming from other sports enjoy watching singles more, but I think that they would enjoy watching it more if it was just quicker games with rally scoring. It's like you lose the point and automatically it's the other person serving, and now you have the advantage as the returner.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing against someone that has a really, really good serve, but
I like that.
Singles.
Yeah, you're right. It says USA Pickleball has told us we'll just have to wait. A rule changing traditional side-out scoring to rally scoring is still pending, as the board of directors has decided to collect more data before making a final decision. Interesting.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one.
So anyway, those first two, as of note, yeah, that'll be cool for 2025. Those first two to make a note of, you can no longer carry the ball on your paddle. But you can double hit the ball as long as it is one motion. So like, for example, if you're watching, hopefully you're watching, this is not one motion, this is not one motion. But if you're one motion all the way through and it hits the paddle more than once, it is still legal.
Which I don't understand that, because I feel like you could do a ballerina move and literally like spike the ball after. Because you technically could, if you had enough coordination, they speed up the ball to you hit it up into the sky, and then you continue in a circle with your body and your paddle. And then you circle it around overhead.
Not a chance.
I think everybody would complain against it, but it's like, show me the rule that says that that's not a continuous motion.
Yeah, and I think that's what will continue with any rule. Until somebody can show that they can deliberately break that rule and like throw it off, then it's not going to be up for
right.
But maybe for next year they'll change that, because so far they've only fixed half of it, the carry portion. Anyway, should we move on to the second one?
Clarified too, because I can just see problems with. We need to move on, but I can see problems with people that throw the ball and they're like, "Well, that's not a carry, that's a throw."
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, that's not in the rule book. I'm sure that this will cause a lot of arguments. They need to kind of specify.
If anybody wants to go look this up, if you look up rules 3.A.1 and 3.A.8, it says it explains the differences between a carry and a double hit. So you guys can check that one out. All right, let's go over top rule change number 3. This would be number 3 now. Players may now use any remaining timeouts to add on to a medical timeout. So a medical timeout, I don't have the rule right here in front of me. I'm pretty sure is 15 minutes.
Yeah, it is.
To take any type of medical timeout. But it also says, hey, if you have remaining timeouts, if you haven't used one or both of them, you can use that on top of it. I'll give my opinion first on this one, and then we'll see what you think. I don't care a ton, honestly, about this rule, but at the same time, I do think if you're injured enough to where it takes you more than 15 minutes to be able to get back on the court, you probably shouldn't be getting back on the court anyway. So why would we extend that even farther? Because anyone that's watching is not going to want to keep watching, because it's commercial after commercial while they wait. It's like a freaking rain delay, you know? And I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me. If you can't fix it in 15 minutes, then it's probably worse than you thought it was, or you're being a bigger baby than you should be. So in my opinion, I mean, you get 15 minutes. If you can't, you fault the match, give it to the other team, play again another day.
So I'm trying to figure out this rule. It looks like requesting a medical timeout. I'm just reading over it because this is one that I haven't specifically read over because I just wasn't interested in it. But it seems as though, so you can or you cannot. It's because it looks like it failed, but failed what? The request failed for a medical. It says this should remain as a casebook item. However, it was determined that case 5 through 23 is flawed and will be revised to reflect 1, that the referee should have no role in determining if it is safe for a player to resume play, and 2, that the player will still be charged with their medical timeout. Medical personnel, the tournament director, and the players are the only ones who can determine if it is safe for a player to resume play.
Isn't that kind of contradicting?
Yeah.
I don't know. So this says if an injured player is granted a medical timeout, a regular timeout can be used to extend the time to return play. So first you have to be granted the medical timeout. You can't be down match point and then try to fake an ankle injury and then take a medical timeout. They might call you out on that. They might not, but anyway.
So it's up to them to
has
call
to
you
be
out?
granted. And then it says a regular timeout can be used to extend the time to return play. I just think that's dumb. And then the 2023 rule was ambiguous, suggesting a player must retire or if he or she doesn't return after an injury timeout. I don't know. It's pretty cut and dry, in my opinion.
Right. So it looks like it's literally up to the referee on if this person is going to continue to play or not.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's weird.
So you just pay the referee and then you're set.
Yeah.
Get right to the 15-minute mark, and then you just have the referee.
I'm interested what other people think on this one. So let us know in the comments what you think about that rule change. I mean, do you really need more than 15 minutes? And should it be up to the ref to determine whether or not you have a medical timeout? Maybe you actually need it. But then you got people like Ryan Sherry. I'm going to call him out right now, who will have to take a dump during a match and just be like, I need a medical timeout. You know what I mean? Or he's so exhausted because he's not in shape and he drank too much the night before. And so he takes a medical timeout. It's like, how about you just get in shape instead?
Travis Rettenmeyer said that he had him stay at his house in Florida when there was some tournament. And he said Ryan didn't make his bed, like left a ton of trash all over the couch, like stuff like that.
Sounds right. Yeah, I think he mentioned that he was late. And he said he was not good.
Wait, what do you mean?
He said he didn't play well that day.
Did they play together?
Yeah, they didn't play in a tournament, but they played like rec play.
Oh. Surprise, surprise.
I know doubles isn't his thing. He can have some crazy singles matches here or there, but think how good he would be if he just got in shape and stopped drinking.
I don't think he'd be that good.
He's got a good forehand.
He's like 80 years old. Nothing against 80-year-olds. It's just you're playing on the pro tour. It's like, what's going on here?
All right, rule 4. In tournament play in a non-officiated match, meaning if you don't have a ref and you're in tournament play, players are now able to go to the head referee or tournament director if they feel their opponent's paddle is illegal in any way. So, honestly, I didn't know that you couldn't do that before.
Yeah. I feel like they've already done
I thought that maybe like...
read into
because I know that you can go to a ref and you can bring them over to your match and say, hey, we actually need a ref for our match because these guys are making bad line calls. I know that you're allowed to do that, but this is actually talking specifically about their paddle. Like, hey, their paddle's delaminated. I can hear it. It's definitely affecting play. That thing's coming at 100 miles per hour. You can go get the ref and complain about their paddle. But
So there was a rule that was they were trying to pass it based off of paddle color, which is what I've heard a lot about. You get people that complain, hey, your paddle's gold, your paddle's yellow.
just
your
like that
paddle's
guy
white.
you and I played the other day.
Yeah.
I say the other day, but a couple months ago.
I hit a
Oh,
winner
you mean
on him.
because we're winning?
Yeah. I hit a winner on him. It was a backhand roll, just a clear winner. He's like, man, dude, I didn't see that off your paddle. It's just the color of your paddle. It's like,
It
No.
wasn't even close.
it's because you're a 3.5, bro, and I'm a 5.5. Like, you got to understand that. It's just a different game. Not saying I'm good.
Yeah, but he
by
wasn't
any
even
means, but-
near the ball at the time. Like,
Yeah.
there was no way he was even remotely going to get the ball.
It was just a clear winner, like right over his shoulder. It was like nobody was home, you know. And it's like,
But I do understand in some situations, like you're saying, there are some paddles, like
Right.
yellow, or there are shirts too, where the ball does tend to blend a little bit when it gets on your body or near your paddle.
so the proposed rule change was apparel, safety, and distraction. A player may be required to change apparel, also a player's equipment, that is inappropriate, including that which approximates the color of the ball. That was the proposed rule change. The committee failed to approve it. I'm not sure why. I don't see how it could be, but they explain why here, actually, now that I remember. They explain. So the reason that they said no is this is being addressed in the equipment standards manual so that it is addressed with the manufacturers, not dealt with at individual tournaments. Acceptable paddles will be those that are on the approved paddle list. So then it'll be addressed with manufacturers, I'd assume, all year, right? They're addressing like, hey, guys, this is what's going to be approved in 2025 so that it gives them time to change the colors of their paddles and stuff like that, probably giving them a year rather than, hey, you just came out with the new Lux, right? Which is right above my head, and now that's no longer approved. And it's like they literally just made 1 million Luxes. I don't know how many they made, but probably a ton because they're selling a ton. And they're in this gold color. They also have blue and red, but it's like, what are they going to do with all the gold ones? So it's
and think about other lesser companies, smaller companies, just put them right out of business.
Yeah, that have white paddles.
Yeah.
Because white's no good either. I don't know. I've never had a problem with it. I've never been playing against someone and I'm like, oh, I can't see the ball off your paddle. It's literally just the lighting of the day. If it starts to get dark, you can't see the ball. If it's black and there's no windscreen or something and it's just like a black behind one side and then white on the other side if there's a wall or something, it's like, yeah, you can't see the side that it's a white background.
Yeah.
But you don't really just have a problem with the person necessarily. It could be the shirt a little bit maybe, but I've never had a problem. What
I can see that. I know a lot of pros have complained about it too. I usually don't have an issue. My biggest issue with seeing the ball is usually at dusk.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I'm same.
Takes my eyes a while to adjust.
If it's a yellow Dura though, I can see it good. Doesn't really matter the time of day. But if it turns into the green Selkirk ball or a green Dura is my least favorite ball, or the Franklin, can't see that crap at dusk.
Yeah. But you're always going to have those people with excuses when they miss a lot of balls. Oh, I just can't see it.
So freaking annoying.
Because it's this or because it's that,
Here's something that's an excuse that I can share with you guys really quick. Yesterday I'm playing pickleball and I lost every game except for one. And people that I played against don't listen to our podcast anyway, so I'm not using it as an excuse. But my shoes, I didn't have socks on that were long enough. So I started literally bleeding on both of my heels here, and I just could not move to the ball. Like, everything was in pain, but I did not say a word to anybody that was there because I didn't want to sound like that guy, because I lost the very first game, and that's when this started hurting. And I lost the first game not due to this at all, but it started hurting, and then I'm like, I'm not saying a word to any of these guys because then it just sounds like an excuse. I always try to avoid that because I've played players who it's like,
I can't stand playing against that guy.
And then you're indoors and they're like, oh man, the lights up there got mad. And I'm just like, you can't win with you, bro. Like, get out of here. So yeah, I didn't want to be that guy, but I know they don't listen to this anyway. So, but it's like 100% I couldn't move to the ball. But am I going to say that to the players that I'm playing with? No. Yeah. Anyways, that's off subject, but just don't be an excuse.
It's a valid excuse.
Like, nobody will want to play with you if you're that excuse guy.
Second point to that is don't wear trash Puma socks, and then you'll be
That's what it was. These are exactly what I was wearing. Look at that. I can't even show the camera. But
yeah, it's bleeding.
Dude, it's actually dripping, huh? Oh, that freaking hurt, though. But both ankles are like that, and I haven't put on my shoes again, but I was rubbing my ankles against the seat that I was sitting on earlier, and they were hurting, so I'm a little baby.
Okay, I forgot what that rule was that we were even talking about. This
was
the
fourth. Paddles. Right?
No. Oh, yeah. So,
in
a non-officiated match, so if you don't have a ref in tournament play, you can go to the head referee if you think someone's paddle is illegal. So, take that for what it is. We kind of went on a tangent there. Now, top rule number 5.
Mainly Spencer.
Yeah, this is Rule 11E. Has been amended. In tournament play, a replay of a completed rally is permitted if a ball is cracked or broken. I think everyone has an opinion on this one. So let me read a little bit further. Well, let me read that rule one more time for anyone listening. In tournament play, a replay of a completed rally, that means the rally is over. Someone basically won the point. It says it is permitted, a replay is permitted if a ball is cracked or broken. Okay, which seems pretty standard. But I do want to combine this with ball on court, because you hear that so many times. Oh, no, I saw that ball out of the corner of my eye. And it's like on the other court. And it's like, sorry, guys, I saw that ball. It looked like it was going to come this way, that type of thing. But in this case, I think a cracked ball depends on... Oh, and then when you read further down, all four players, if you're playing a match, or if you're playing singles, both players, or if you're playing doubles, all four players have to agree that it affected play for you to be able to replay that point. I do think in some cases a cracked ball should not be replayed, and in one case, and this is my one case. You play the entire point, the ball has not cracked whatsoever. Somebody pops up a ball, and the other team hits an easy put away. And if on that hit, I just hit my head on the wall. If on that hit, I didn't even notice. If on that overhead, the ball cracks, but you win the point, unless it's like right next to the other player and you think they had a chance of getting it. But in my opinion, if on that point the ball cracks, it's like, no, the other team already lost that point by popping the ball up to them for the overhead. If the ball cracks during play, you're in a hands battle or whatever, and you can tell the ball's cracked and you're still hitting it back and forth, I get that. But I disagree. If one team messes it up by popping it up, lobbing it up, and the other team has an easy put away, and that's when it cracks, I don't think it should be replayed.
Yeah, I guess it's just figuring out when it cracked. And if anybody has a problem with the fact that it's the last ball that cracked, they're cheaters anyway. So you're going to have the problem anyway. So it's like, I think everybody listening to this would agree that the only time that shouldn't count is when it's an easy overhead put away, and that's when it cracks. But the people that don't agree are the people that are going to be
cheating.
Yeah, they're going to be cheating, where it's like, no, that cracked first shot of the game, but you can't stop the rally because that's part of the rule. Yeah. You can't stop the rally. So we finished the rally with you guys, and then I wanted to tell you after, which it's like, did they actually think about this before they put this through? Like, did they talk about this like we are now? Because that's just like the only time you're going to have a problem with that rule is when you're playing against people that are literally that dumb.
Or that are going to hook you on calls or whatever.
Pull another ball out of their pocket. Crap.
Yeah. So one more point to that. I think this rule should either be, what do I know? But I think this should be the ref either determines if it's a replay. Just the ref. The players can't determine if it is.
I agree.
Or anytime the ball cracks, during a point, it's an automatic replay. Nobody determines, it's just ball cracked, automatic replay of the point. But if you have to get all four people to agree on that sucks, because there are some cheaters out there.
Yeah.
I think 90% of people are not those cheaters, but when you have to play those people that will hook you on line calls and anything else, they're not going to agree to that. They're going to say, nah. So.
No, I don't think. I don't know what their excuse would be, but it would be like just no, and they can say no, and then since they haven't agreed, it doesn't go through. Something else about this rule, really quick. It says, if both teams agree that the ball is degraded or soft, the ball will be replaced, but there is no replay of the prior rally, which is interesting because we had that whole deflate gate thing, or whatever it was called. I think it was called that, where James Ignatowicz hit a ball or someone hit a ball against him. Was it against him or?
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but someone was like, the ball deflated. And the ref was like, we'll get a new ball, replay. So they totally took that rule out because they made a total joke of it pretty much by saying the ball was deflated. It's like the ball has 40 holes in it. It can't deflate. It's not full of air. Yeah. It's just plastic in a ball.
So if it does, like I've seen, if it can get really hot too, the ball can compress slightly.
Marshmallow, yeah.
But I would agree that it doesn't need to be replayed. But if you want to switch the ball after that point, fine.
Yeah. And both teams have to agree to that switching of the ball, which you'll get people that'll be like, no, I like it soft. Like
Yeah,
that.
especially if I just won the point.
Yeah, it'll be the people that didn't win the point that will be complaining about it.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's kind of funny is like if I'm ever playing and I know that the ball is bad and it maybe has like minor cracks in it, I'll always win a point first before I change the ball out. So I'll win the point and then I'll be like, hey guys, I think of this ball, look at this, and I'll show them like how it's mushy or it has a little crack. Let's replace it. But I'll never do it like, oh, I missed a shot, and then I'm like, okay, we need to replace that ball.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Not use it as an excuse because you missed the point
Win the
before
point
and then
first.
have a replay.
It is the reason that you lost the point 2 points ago, but now that you've won this point, you can bring it up,
Yeah. Huh.
which I think is the way to go.
All right. Well, those are the top 5. You guys can check out any of those other changes or proposed changes, but those ones are probably the most dramatic.
Yeah, we'll link it right at the top of the description. Spencer will.
Yeah, I'll link it on there so
Wherever
you
you're
guys can
watching.
check it out and let us know what you think, whether or not you agree with them and why, and start a little debate, and maybe those things will change again in 2025.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Just have to see.
It should be interesting. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.
See ya.